I've definitely been here before. I've done this before. It's not a normal deja vu. And that deja vu expands. Every decision that you make, whether you're in that room, what you choose to do or not to do, what you will do, and what people can do, are worlds apart.
Absolutely.
So we have to make sure that we are.
You're one of the greatest speakers in the world. I mean, that's not just me gassing you up, by the way. Like, this is one of those things where I think anyone who watches you on stage will unquestionably see that. You have this energy, you have this very powerful presence. So that's not something I considered to be really common in a lot of Asian people I've met. Was this just something that you were born with as a gift?
No, I was actually, when I was a kid, I had a stutter. So and sometimes it comes out a little bit when I'm trying to speak too fast. What I realize is when you're growing up, you get taught by the people around you. And then what I realize is that the bigger your spark is, the bigger your personality becomes. And so when you're on a mission, like if you want to change one life, you have a certain energy. And the work that you're doing, John, you want to change millions of lives and you want to impact, then it takes certain energy. So you can't be small and play small. You got to be big and everything around you expands. Everything's energy. Synergistically, this made so much more sense to be able to just get this and to be able to infuse this message so people can actually learn and also experience it.
100%.
And so for me, I wasn't born with this. It's just something that developed over time through mission. If I will, a calling. I know that sounds fluffy, right? What is a calling? What's purpose? I did this talk in LA, 13,000 people. And what is the art of manifestation? And I broke it down to two things. Number one is you have to, first of all, have the intention. What is my intention? What do I want to do? Even if you don't know the way, the unknown will teach you the way. And the second thing is the applied action, not just action, applied action. Meaning you can go to the gym, you see people lifting weights like this, right? They're trying to get big biceps, but all they really get is big back because they're lifting the weights the wrong way. But if I have applied action with intention, then I'm going to cut straight through it. Right? You see the people in the gym. I don't know if you go. You go to. I can tell you go to the gym. Right? So you see the guys who are really ripped.
Oh yeah.
Right, and they come in. You can see the vascularity. We just feel like how ripped he was. Right.
Yeah.
And you go, I bet that guy can lift a lot. And when you see them at the gym, they're not lifting a lot at all. They're lifting lighter weights, which you can easily do, but they're doing it in a very controlled manner. And you go, that's why that person's ripped. Of course, there's the diet and things like that as well.
Sure.
But it's a part of technique and it's part of who you have to be and who you have to become to get that thing.
That's very powerful. So technique is so important. That's the leverage point. That's the pivotal point that makes everything magnified, right? And then there's the purpose behind it, the calling that you say. I think this is particularly interesting. Talking about our history and our cultural backgrounds. You mentioned the doctor, lawyer, engineer thing. I got that exact same talk when I was a kid.
Right.
How did that eventually become you now in pursuit of your calling? How do you find it?
Well, because I wasn't smart enough for I'm dyslexic as well. So I find it very difficult to read and write. In fact, if you look at some of my most viral posts, they have spelling mistakes in them because people are like, oh, you can't even spell. And what they're doing is they're commenting on my posts and it's lifting the algorithm.
It's working.
So it's a happy medium.
Yeah.
So when we talk about repetition, right, it's really stage time. So as I go through that whole thing of you need to become a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, when I look at actually what is it I actually do and how I'm able to pursue that through repetition, through honing a skill, it's really being obsessed with the process. And this sounds really bizarre for most people because even though I wasn't that great at school, I picked the things that I was kind of good at. So you know what I picked? I just picked art. Right? Okay, I don't need academics for that. I can draw some stuff, right? So I went to art school. And then I eventually got a job as an animator, right? So as I worked as an animator, even in that process, I was learning about film, I was learning about camera, I was learning about script writing, I was learning about basically all the things I have to use today to scale businesses to multi-million-pound companies. And skills I thought back then I didn't even thought I needed to learn. Presentation skills, right? So I had to get up and, again, I wasn't very good at academics or science and geography and English, so I took theatre studies. Which allowed me to kind of get out of my shell a little bit. And so it's interesting because as all these things work in my favor, what I thought back then was useless, today has now become paramount.
And that all contributed as well as, theater makes perfect sense, right? You're on stage. And I think that's one of the skills. Don't get me wrong, I've gone through your materials, Wells Dragon, everything like that. You are incredibly knowledgeable and wise. but then we see you on stage and that presence. So in my mind, I'm watching and I'm going, theater makes sense, purpose makes sense. Is there anything else that you've over the years have developed that made that energy?
Yes. So as an animator, I understand form, right? So for example, I used to have to go to the zoo to look at how animals work, because one time I got the task of animating a mammoth. Well, how does a mammoth move? I have no idea. So the closest thing to a mammoth is an elephant. So I go to the zoo and I look at the way it's moving its weight. I look at the dynamic, I look at the form. I look at as the paw is pressed down, the skin comes over it. And then I used to, and this is a good one, I used to have to analyze human anatomy. So I'd sit there in coffee and I'd look at women walking, because the women and men, they walk differently.
Right.
Like women, they've got more of a like swag. So when you're animating, you've got to put more of a rhythm into it. Whereas men, it's kind of like that. If you look at the shoulders, when they walk, it kind of does this, right? So I used to have to analyze human anatomy and to see how humans walk, humans talk, analyzing facial expressions. Again, all things I use today when I'm on stage. If there's 10,000 people on a stage, I can see that person and go, I know what that person is feeling, because I can tell from the expression, right? So then it's talk about moving energy and form and putting all these things together that then become a perfect symphony. So when I'm on stage, I'm not just thinking about what I'm saying, I'm reading the audience, I'm reading the lighting, is the light too bright? Right? How wide is the room? Like in that where you saw me speak, that's a huge venue, really tall ceilings. That means I've got to be extra more energy to fill the space. That's why I was doing intentions behind the stage, right? The place to where the flip charts are positioned, to how the slides are. And if you notice, I was using 4 colors. Why 4 colors, not 1? Because it takes 2 colors to stimulate your brain when you watch me speak, right? So little things like this. Managing energy, managing audience, knowing what to say, pausing at the right time for the message to land. Having your passionate like this or passionate like this. And to be able to move the energy with the voice, to be able to, again, articulate. So I went through a lot of vocal training. It's kind of when Steve Jobs, when he created Apple, he had to do calligraphy, which later became the text on the word processor that everyone would use. But he never knew it at the time. So I believe that these skill sets that you start to acquire, not because you had to do it, because it was meant for you at the time, but you didn't know why. And now it creates something incredible. And that's how magic is created.
I love that. And that way that you spoke about, you're right, like energy could be loud and dominating. Like this could be what, like very Tony Robbins, hey everyone, we're here, we're gonna be in our peak state. Or it could be strong and even, but still powerful. Now that is incredible range, right? I mean, most people, they have one note. Right, let's like a lot of people we meet, they have one note, right? They kind of talk like this all the time. And did you have to specifically work to develop that range of that presence and how you show up?
I was conscious of it. But you know what, everything I do is, every time I run a presentation, I'll always record it, right? And why do I record it? Because I want to see, actually, when I'm speaking, I'm not looking at how I'm presenting on stage, I'm looking at where the anchor points are. So for example, if I make a statement and I'm stood at the edge of the stage versus the back of the stage, it has a different impact. If I'm on the left-hand side, I'm looking right, but I'm just not looking left, I alienate that side of the audience. Wow. So I need to cross the energy, and I need to be, like you mentioned, the sensory acuity needs to be widened. And when you widen your sensory acuity, you can see everything at any one time. Have you seen the film Everything Everywhere at Once?
Yes, of course. Love that book.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, movie.
Right? So when you look at that, immediately you've got all these things happening simultaneously at the same time. I won't get into quantum mechanics because that might be a little bit too deep, or we can't go into it.
I'm happy to go wherever you want to go.
Okay, so then we look at multiple timelines.
Yeah.
Right, multiple realities happening simultaneously. You ever had a deja vu that feels so real that it's not just a normal deja vu. It's like, I've definitely been here before. I've done this before.
Yeah, often.
Like it's not a normal deja vu, and that deja vu expands, and you're in it not just for a split second. Oh, I've seen that before. It's like, are you looking around? You recognize everything, right? It's what we call quantum jumping. Quantum jump creates from a decision that you make that leads you into a different path. Do you know? And my friend Ian taught me this today. I didn't know this. people, when they go on a downward spiral, it's not instantly. It's not like you fall 1,000 feet at a time. You're going at 1 degree. Do you know if you go at 1 degree for 10 miles in either direction, it ends up being the height of a skyscraper?
Right, yeah.
So the decision that you make right now, quantum jumps you to a new reality, or as the event that we've been to called destiny, leads you to where you want to be. Now, why are we talking about this? Because every decision that you make, whether you're in that room, what you choose to do or what not to do, or what you will do and what people can do, are worlds apart.
Absolutely.
So we have to make sure that we are honing in on the skill sets and the things that we want to do in order to achieve that process, in order to articulate it and understand it, then only we can execute it.